Who was Lachit Borphukan? Lachit Borphukan was a great warrior of the Ahom kingdom of Assam. He was the contemporary of Chhatrapati Shivaji, and like Shivaji Maharaj, he stopped the advance of Mughal imperialism in his land. In fact, Shivaji's successes inspired the Assamese to organize an effective opposition to the Mughal aggression. So the battle in which the Ahom army under the leadership of Lachit Borphukan defeated the Mughals was the famous Battle of Saraighat, fought in the year 1671. But before going into the details of the battle, I would like to give you a brief background so that you can understand the context in which the battle was fought. So during the 17th century, the eastern part of Assam was completely under the control of the Ahoms, but the control of the western part of Assam fluctuated between Ahoms and the Mughals. But in 1639, an important treaty was enacted between the Ahom general Momai Tamuli Borbarua, who by the way was the father of Lachit Borphukan, and the Mughal commander Allah Yar Khan. And by this treaty, the western part of Assam, commencing from Guwahati, passed into the hands of the Mughals. But Jayadhwaj Singh, king of Assam from 1648 to 1663 AD, taking advantage of the illness of the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan and the war of succession, chased out the Mughals from Guwahati and also took a large number of Mughal subjects as captives. But when Aurangzeb became the Mughal emperor, he ordered Mir Jumla to invade Assam and re-establish the prestige of Mughals in eastern India. So Mir Jumla entered Assam in the beginning of 1662, and because of some internal disaffection in the Assamese camp, Mir Jumla easily repulsed the not-so-brave resistance offered by the Assamese army, and areas like Pandu, Guwahati and Kajali again fell into the hands of the Mughals. But the Mughals did not stop at this. They entered further eastwards and captured the capital of Ahoms, Gargaon, on 17th March 1662. And for the first time, some of the eastern part of Assam also came under the control of the Mughals. But this victory was only temporary, because the Mughal army was decimated by the continuous guerrilla attacks of the Ahoms along with climatic inconvenience, and Mir Jumla had to retreat with his army. But before retreating, Mir Jumla imposed a humiliating treaty on the Ahoms. According to this treaty, Ahom ceded Western Assam to the Mughals, promised a war indemnity of 3 lakhs of rupees and 90 elephants and an annual tribute of 20 elephants. And the most humiliating part of the treaty was that the king had to deliver his only child and daughter as well as his niece to the harem of the Mughal emperor. The Mughal general also took with him 12,000 Assamese followers and captives, which was by the way not a part of the treaty. But after the withdrawal of the Mughal army from eastern Assam, the Ahom king and his ministers launched extensive preparations to recover their lost territory together with their lost prestige. And just when the preparations had made considerable progress, Jayadhwaj Singh breathed his last in November 1663. In his deathbed, he called his ministers and said, "You should be of one mind and purpose and direct your efforts towards restoring your devastated country to prosperity and peace. It should be your earnest endeavor to extract from the nation's bosom the spear of humiliation fixed upon it by our enemy, the Mughals." Jayadhwaj Singh was succeeded by his uncle's son Chakradhwaj Singh, and in March 1665, the new king called an assembly of his ministers and nobles and ordered them to devise measures for expelling Mughals from Western Assam. He also added, "My ancestors were never subordinate to any other people, and I, for myself, cannot remain under the vassalage of any foreign power." So the preparations on an extensive scale continued for 2 long years. And when the preparations were complete, came the business of selecting a commander of this vast army. Now Lachit Borphukan comes into the picture. And as I have already said, Lachit Borphukan was the son of Momai Tamuli Borbarua, who himself had been an important minister in Ahom kingdom. So now Lachit Borphukan was made the commander-in-chief of the Ahom army. But before becoming the commander-in-chief, he had already been posted as the primary secretary of the premier and also at some other important posts. After making Lachit Borphukan commander-in-chief of the Ahom army, King Chakradhwaj Singh gave the following message to his commanders. "I desire that your wives and children and the cows and Brahmins should be duly protected and preserved, and that I should also acquire the prestige and reputation of having vanquished the Mughals." With this, the Ahom force started by recapturing their capital city Gargaon in 1667. Then they advanced further down the Brahmaputra to Guwahati. Lachit soon captured an important fort of the Mughals. The Mughal governor, along with a large number of Mughal soldiers, were taken as prisoners. The Mughals soon abandoned Guwahati, and Lachit was successful in liberating Ahom territory, which was earlier ceded to Mir Jumla. But Lachit realized that Mughal emperor was bound to send a large army to avenge the defeat of his forces. So without wasting any time in celebrating his victory, Lachit set about to organize the defenses of Guwahati in a very meticulous manner. So for nearly 2 years, he was developing his defenses while the Mughals organized a large army and advanced to Guwahati. It is said that Lachit was very strict and ruthless with his subordinates in ensuring the preparation of defenses. He even beheaded his own uncle, who was found negligent in this regard. He said, "My uncle is not greater than my country." The Mughal army under Ram Singh consisted of about 30,000 infantry, 15,000 archers, 18,000 Turkish cavalry, 5,000 gunners and over 1,000 cannons, besides a large number of boats. On the other hand, Lachit was also confident to beat back the Mughals with his impregnable force. But he also knew that his force cannot beat Mughals on the plains, because the Mughal cavalry was far more superior on the plains. So they had to be denied any opportunity to exploit their overwhelming superiority in cavalry. The Mughals made contact with Lachit's defences in March 1669 and laid siege to Guwahati. The Mughals also made repeated attack against Ahom defences, but they could not get any substantial success. And soon a heavy monsoon set in, because of which the Mughals got bogged down in the mud. They got separated from each other due to flowing stream. The Ahoms were clearly at an advantage because they were more used to the terrain and they were also accustomed to the climate. The Ahoms also made repeated guerrilla attacks against the Mughals, which causes heavy losses to them. And since the Mughals were not getting any military success, Ram Singh tried to bribe Lachit Borphukan. A letter addressed to Lachit Borphukan attached to an arrow shot at the Ahom camp. It was mentioned in the letter that Lachit had been bribed to evacuate Guwahati. When the Ahom king came to know about the letter, he grew suspicious of Lachit Borphukan. And the Prime Minister managed to convince the king that it was the trick of Mughal commander and that there was no reason to doubt the loyalty of Lachit Borphukan. But the king insisted that Lachit came out of his defences and fight the Mughals on open ground. So Lachit and Ahom army was forced to fight the Mughals on the plains. And after some initial success, Ahom army suffered badly. But Lachit managed to extricate some of his soldiers and moved back into his prepared defences. The Mughals could not penetrate these defences, and then they tried to take advantage of their large boats and launched a massive naval assault on the river. The Ahom soldiers were demoralized after their recent setback, and at the same time, Lachit Borphukan, their commander-in-chief, became seriously ill. At the sight of the massive Mughal fleet, Ahoms lose their will to fight, and some of them even started retreating. Lachit was observing this development from his sickbed, and he could not see his army getting demoralized, and thus he could not stop himself from leading from the front. This had an electrifying effect on his soldiers, and they rallied behind him, and a desperate battle ensued at Brahmaputra river at Saraighat in 1671. The river became littered with boats and men struggling to escape, drowning. The Mughals could not stand the fury of Assamese onset. Highlighting the indomitable spirit of the Assamese, S.K. Bhuyan in his book wrote, "The Assamese were fighting for their life and liberty, and the Mughals for the mere luxury of a triumph and territorial expansion." There were heavy casualties on the side of the invaders. At last, the conquest came to an end. It was a decisive victory for the Assamese. Ram Singh, after the contest, praising the skill and valor of the Assamese, said, "Every Assamese soldier is expert in rowing boats, in shooting arrows, in digging trenches, and in wielding guns and cannon. I have not seen such specimens of versatility in any part of India." But soon after the Battle of Saraighat, the joy of victory was marred by the death of Lachit Borphukan. He was in high fever when he led the attack against the Mughals. S.K. Bhuyan in his book wrote, "It was his indomitable spirit that goaded him to action, though his frame was incapable of bearing such a tremendous burden. But for his timely intervention, the failing enthusiasm of the Assamese soldiers would have purchased an ignoble defeat." Lachit has been a hero and an inspiration, not only for the people of Assam. He is an example of bravery, courage, and statesmanship to be emulated by every Indian. There have been many unsung heroes of our country who have not been given their due place in our history textbooks. So friends, if you like the video and if you have any suggestion for me, then please let me know in the comment section through your comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Dhanyavad.